Okay, let's unpack this. We need to talk about Severance.
Hmm.
And I don't just mean, obsessing over plot twists or trying to figure out what the goats are for.
Though, seriously, the goats.
Ugh.
We have to wonder.
Right. But I really want to talk about what the show is doing to us, because looking at the second season, it feels less like a sci-fi puzzle box.
And more like a mirror.
A brutal mirror, yeah.
Right.
Held up to modern work culture.
Uh-huh.
It's terrifyingly accurate.
It really is. It's one of those rare things that just stops feeling like fiction.
Yeah.
It's like you're watching a documentary about your own psyche.
A meditation on identity.
On trauma, the masks we all wear.
Yeah.
And honestly, looking at the stack of analysis we pulled for this, the show forces a really uncomfortable question.
Which is,
What parts of ourselves do we, amputate just to keep our professional lives functioning every day?
that is the mission for this deep dive. We aren't just doing fan theories.
Yeah.
We're going to decode the metaphorical layers. We're drawing from some really comprehensive analysis that compares the innie and outie split to, real-world psychology. We'll get into the Egan legacy corporate dynamics.
And what I think is most important, connect it to the looming impact of AI on all of our jobs.
Right, because that's where the metaphor stops being about a TV show.
And starts being a warning about the next 10 years.
So let's start at the foundation, the core metaphor. Innie versus outie. In Seven 1, it felt clever, a commentary on work-life balance.
It'd be nice to just forget the workday.
Totally. But looking at the deeper analysis, it seems like it's evolved into something much, much heavier than just balance.
It absolutely has.
Yeah.
If we look at the psychological sources here, the innie isn't just the you at work. The innie represents what some psychologists call the instrumental self.
The instrumental self. Okay, break that down for me. That sounds like something I'd read in a textbook and immediately forget.
No, it's simple. Think of it as the version of you that's curated for utility.
For utility.
Yeah. The you that's designed for performance, for hitting metrics, for professional behavior. The you that fits neatly into the cells of a spreadsheet.
Oh.
It's competent, it's polite, but it's emotionally restricted. It's the you that answers the phone with that slightly higher-pitched, helpful voice.
Oh, the customer service voice. I know that voice very, very well.
Oh, we all do.
It's the version of me that nods in a meeting even when I think the idea is just terrible.
Exactly. That is the instrumental self. Now, the outie represents the narrative self.
Okay.
That's the you that holds your history, your grief, your messy relationships. Real life.
Yeah.
The narrative self is the one lying awake at 3 a.m. wondering if you made the right choices.
Or remembering that embarrassing thing you did in third grade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Precisely. So it's basically the LinkedIn profile come to life versus who you are when you're crying in the shower.
That hits hard. And the analysis points out a shift in season 2,
A
right?
huge shift.
Yeah.
The innie the machine part of you starts to develop longing. It wants selfhood. It wants to be more than just a tool.
While the outie is just plagued by guilt and fear.
Exactly. The analysis says we routinely amputate parts of ourselves. Curiosity, anger, freedom, just to operate smoothly in the corporate machine. The innie is the personification of that cut.
It's that feeling when you walk into the office and have to leave your real self at the door.
Yeah.
We suppress all the messy stuff to be a good employee.
Right. And this brings us to the illusion of choice. Lumen isn't just some spooky company. It's a stand-in for generational trauma. The whole Egan legacy.
It's about how organizations and families, honestly, are built on these unquestioned rituals.
Under rituals.
The waffle parties, the break room chants, the music dance experience.
It's so absurd on screen, but we do that, don't we?
We absolutely do. Maybe not waffles, but we have our own corporate rituals that we just accept.
Think about the all-hands meeting, where everyone claps for a metric nobody understands.
Or the forced fun of team building, where you build a tower out of spaghetti.
Yes, it's ritualistic behavior designed to create compliance, a sense of belonging, even if the activity itself is, meaningless.
And our notes highlight a real tension there. Companies preach flexibility, bring your whole self to work.
But they enforce rigid control. It's creativity turned into productivity dashboards. And look at Mark S., his arc. He uses the severed floor to numb his grief.
Over his wife.
And the source material puts it perfectly. If you erase suffering, you also erase identity. He created a hollow second self instead of healing.
He was just displacing the pain. That leads me to one of the most mind-bending moments, the camcorder scene.
Oh, yeah.
This is where Innie Mark is talking to himself, to his outie on a video.
Yeah.
Psychologically, what is actually happening there?
I mean, it's arguably the most revealing moment of the whole show. You have the innie pleading to stay alive. He's saying, I want to exist.
Why, though? Why does he want to exist so badly?
Because of his work relationships. In there, he feels competent. He feels valued. Meanwhile, the outie just wants to quit to avoid all that personal trauma.
It's a negotiation, isn't it? One we usually keep hidden inside our own heads.
It's the internal conflict we never say out loud. And sometimes, and this is the scary part for a lot of people to admit, the work self feels more alive.
Wait, more alive at work? That sounds backwards. We all complain about work.
But think about it. The work self lives in a world of what our source calls simplified emotional physics.
Simplified emotional physics.
The relationships are clearer. You have a task, you do it, you get praise. The rules are literally written on the wall.
You get the gold star, you clear the inbox, it's solvable.
Exactly. Now compare that to the home self. That self carries inherited burdens, family stress, sick parents, financial worries. The chaos of reality is unpredictable. It's often unsolvable.
That is so true. At work, if I finish a project, I get a good job. At home, the laundry just keeps piling up. There's no performance review for emptying the dishwasher.
Right, so it's tempting to retreat into the competence of work. And the show argues that a person only becomes whole when that split collapses. You can't delegate sadness to one part of your mind.
Speaking of relationships, let's talk about the love triangle. It's not your typical triangle, though. We have Mark, Helly, and Gemma.
This is where the metaphor gets incredibly rich. So Gemma, who is Miss Casey inside Lumen,
Right.
she represents real-life intimacy. She's tied to Mark's grief, his vulnerability, his history. Loving her literally hurts. It's messy.
It's unoptimized.
Unoptimized, yes. And then there's Helly R.
Kelly represents work intimacy.
Exactly. She's born in that structured, performance-driven space. The relationship feels safer. Their goals are aligned. They both want to figure out what's going on.
So the conflict isn't that he likes Helly more. He just gravitates toward her because she exists in that simplified world.
That simplified emotional physics. It explains so much about workplace romances, honestly. It's easy to fall for someone when you're both fighting the same dragon.
But there's a dark irony with Helly, isn't there?
A huge one. She isn't just a coworker.
She's an Egan.
She is the air. She is the system itself. So the key takeaway is terrifying. Mark falls in love with the very corporate identity that's draining his real one.
The muse he loves is the machine that exploits him.
Oof. It's Stockholm Syndrome at a metaphysical level.
He's in love with the system that's keeping his actual wife captive. It's just tragic.
It is.
Which brings us back to Miss Casey. Our notes mention a specific detail about her appearing as a school kid in a video.
Yes, in the personal data refinement video. This isn't random. It symbolizes purity without agency.
Purity without agency. That sounds like a corporate tactic.
Well, think about how companies treat soft skills. They want our empathy, our care, our nurturing side, the things Ms. Casey provides as a wellness counselor.
But they want those traits to be harmless.
And compliant. By showing her as a child, the system is showing how it infantilizes our emotional selves. It's an identity regression, a reset to a blank slate that the company can then program.
It's like they want the obedience of a child with the output of an adult. Be nice, play nice, don't ask hard questions.
Precisely. The warmth of a human, but the control of a parent.
Let's shift to the other people in that office, the archetypes, because they all feel like people we've actually worked with. Let's start with Milchick.
Oh, Milchick. He's the enforcer, but he's specifically corporate culture weaponized.
He's not the screaming drill sergeant, he's the fun boss.
He is. He uses charisma and celebration as tools for discipline. He's the guy who throws the pizza party, but is watching to see if you're smiling enough.
He embodies the corporate superego, the little voice that whispers, "You are valued."
As long as you obey. Its control masks his community. When he dances with them, it's terrifying because the fun is mandatory.
Then you have Dylan, who loves the perks, the finger traps, the waffle parties.
Dylan represents the instinctive rebellion. He takes the poke so seriously because, as an innie, that's all he has. He's the inner child who wants the prize.
But his revolt, it's not intellectual.
No, it's physical. It's rage-driven. It's the body's revolt when it realizes it's being exploited. He bites. He screams. He physically holds the switches.
It's visceral. And then my personal favorite, Merving, the stickler for the rule.
Irving is the institutional conscience. He starts as the devout loyalist, the priest of the Lumen religion.
He believes.
He truly believes. But his rebellion is different from Dylan's. It's the soul's revolt. It's slower, truth-driven, and it's born from love, his connection with Bert.
The Knights mentioned something really profound about Irving and layoffs. I think a lot of listeners will connect with this.
This is a crucial metaphor. When Irving is at risk of losing his role, it's treated like a death. It symbolizes the tragedy of the true believer being discarded.
It's not just economic.
Not at all. For people like Irving, layoffs are identity amputations. When you believe in the company mission that much, being cut loose destroys your sense of self. It's not "I lost my paycheck," it's "I lost my church."
The betrayal of the faithful. And what about his painting? The dark hallway he keeps painting over and over.
That's the unconscious mind trying to process the system's blind spots. His conscious mind, the loyal employee, ignores the darkness.
Lumen is good. The work is important.
But his unconscious mind remembers the horror of that testing floor. It paints it. It's the psyche screaming that something is wrong, leaking through the cracks in his loyalty.
That is deep. Okay, let's zoom out. The source material draws this massive line between severance and the future of work, specifically with AI.
This is where it gets really scary.
How does the innie relate to artificial intelligence?
If we apply this framework to the rise of AI, the role of the innie shifts. In the show, the innie does the work. He sorts the numbers.
Right.
But in an AI-driven future, the human shifts from doing the work to orchestrating the work. The human becomes what the analysis calls a human API layer.
A human API layer. That sounds so cold.
It is. Instead of writing the copy, you're just prompting the machine and checking its work.
So the danger is that your identity shifts from I create to I monitor.
Yes, and that deepens the emotional distance from the work. You become a hollowed-out innie, responsible for the output, but you didn't make it. You just managed the flow.
That sounds incredibly draining. I mean, you lose the joy of creation, right? The satisfaction of actually building something.
You do. And the impact on collaboration is huge. AI might make surface collaboration better.
Scheduling, summarizing meetings.
All that gets easier. But deep collaboration, the shared struggle, the confusion, the "we finally cracked this together" moments, that suffers.
Because if the AI just gives you the answer, you didn't struggle through it with your team. You didn't stay up late eating pizza trying to fix the bug.
Exactly. And those moments of shared struggle are what build real trust. If you remove that, rituals shift from "we solve this" to "we use the same tools."
We become isolated nodes in a network, which leads to hyper-individualism.
Right. And in this context, that's isolating. The sources highlight that organizations drift toward dehumanization, not out of malice, but out of scale and efficiency.
And hyper-individualism, owning your metrics at your lonely dashboard, just isolates people more.
You become your own little corporation of one. The cure, as the show suggests, is meaningful interdependence.
Actually needing each other, not just to schedule a meeting, but to survive the system.
Think about it. The innie becomes more real than the outie when we define ourselves solely by our dashboards and titles. If we let AI push us further into those silos,
We lose the human connection that makes it all bearable. We sever ourselves.
we become the severance chips.
So really, severance is teaching us that work fragments us. It cuts us into pieces. But human connection.
It integrates us.
Yeah.
Mark finding Gemma, Irving finding Bert, those are acts of integration. They are acts of stitching the soul back together against a system designed to pull it apart.
The system wants them alone in cubicles.
The soul wants to be together in the hallway.
It's just amazing how a show about brain chips and scary hallways can tell us so much about our average Tuesday at the office.
It's a warning flare. It's telling us to look at our own innies and ask if we're okay with who we become when we walk through those doors.
So as we wrap this up, we've covered the split self, corporate rituals, the love affair with the system, and the shadow of AI. It's a lot to process.
It is a lot, but it's important to think about. If we don't, we risk becoming the empty vessels the system wants us to be.
I want to leave our listener with one final thought from our material. It's a question that's been bouncing around my head since I first read it.
It's the ultimate question the series poses.
Do we go to work to escape the messiness of our lives? Or do we live our lives to escape the burden of our work?
Which self is the refuge and which is the cage?
And can we ever be free if we keep them separate? Something to think about next time you step into the elevator. Thanks for listening.